know how much we love you, Sherrilyn. I was sharing with the team earlier. We have a gazillion stories about moments with you where you have set the tone and have been very clear. And I was reflecting on our time in Baltimore for the State of the People National Assembly, where you really were giving us a very clear indication of where we are as a democracy. And I would love for you to talk about where you think we are now. We're seeing the Smithsonian takeover. We're seeing the National Guard coming in from other states into DC to harass our children. We're, of course, seeing this crazy situation unfold in Texas with redistricting. I'd love to know, if you were giving democracy a grade right now in the United States, what would it be?
Oh, we're at a D for sure. We're at a D. We are um, really right now fighting over the remnants. We're fighting over maintaining the found enough of the foundations that we could build something new on. I mean, those of us who care about democracy, who want a different country. I have one of the reasons I wanted to start this 14th Amendment Center was because I want to be in the 24/7 work of thinking through, strategizing, and preparing for the building of a new American democracy.
Mm.
And but to build it, I recognize you need some of the stuff. You need some things in the foundation that you can build on. And we're getting perilously low on the integrity of the foundations that we would rebuild on if we were to have a chance to rebuild. Will we have a chance to rebuild? There's no guarantees there, and it's a ways off. And so the process that we're in right now has to be one in which we are ever thinking towards the future, and we're also thinking about our survival. A key piece is, how do we survive this period with our integrity intact, our dignity intact, our families intact, and our communities intact, because that's who we are on this continent. We're always trying to figure out how we survive this thing and make it to the next thing. Now, we want to thrive for sure, but I want to be very clear that the opportunities for that will be very narrow in the
Mhm.
coming years for a broad set of people. And that means it is incumbent on those of us who have been beneficiaries of the sacrifices that were made early on, um, among our ancestors, to take up our obligation to do the same for those that come after us. But right now, democracies are made up of citizens, of people, but also critically made up of institutions that hold democracy together. And the worst of this moment is not that 40%, maybe 45% of Americans are fully okay with an authoritarian takeover of our country. And maybe another 10% are prepared to just watch an authoritarian takeover of our country. That's bad. But what will make this democracy completely crumble, if it does, is the absolute collapse of democratic institutions. What are democratic institutions? Well, there's no healthy democracy you can point to in the world that doesn't have a strong and free and independent media, that doesn't have a strong, free, and independent civil service, that doesn't have a strong, free, and independent university system, that doesn't have a strong business community that functions with integrity, that doesn't have a legal system that upholds the rule of law and in which legal professionals are held to a high standard of performance. There's no healthy democracy in the world that doesn't have a strong and independent court system. And if you tick off those lists for all of us right now, every single one of the core institutions of democracy in this country has failed. And that, more than anything else, is why we are where we are today. Systems of government are not just about who gets elected in one election, it's a system. It sustains itself over multiple elections. And no one person, especially a person of Donald Trump's caliber, who for all his bluster didn't know shit from Shinola about politics before 2016. He knew about manipulation. He knew about narrative. He knew about image making. He knew about white supremacy and how to appeal to it. But he didn't know shit from Shinola about politics and government. No one person with that diminished knowledge can come in and hijack the most powerful and wealthy democracy in the world unless it is already in trouble. And that's, I'm writing this book now called Is This America? And that's what the book is about. It's about why we were already in trouble. And you all know this, because it's all the people who think the world was perfect when Obama was president or Clinton was president or Biden was president. And I've been a civil rights lawyer for 35 years, never been out of work. It has not been perfect. But we had institutions attempting to hold the line. And now we have seen the biggest and most wealthy law firms in the world collapse. We've seen the biggest and most revered universities collapse. We've seen the media just utterly freaking collapse. And you can't save a democracy and you can't have democracy unless you have an institutional structure to uphold it.
Native Land Pod is a production of iHeartRadio in partnership with Reason Choice Media. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.